Hey there golfers, it's Derek from ForeGolf Custom, and today I'm talking about the new Titleist T-Series iron. I needed a little bit of time with this. Okay, it's a little bit complicated, but I wanted some time in the fitting bay. I wanted to see some customers coming through. I wanted to get some feedback from, especially from the better players, as to what they sense and what they feel. It's not what I think, it's what I'm actually seeing at the fitting session. So the information I'm going to share with you, this is all around custom fitting, specs, shafts, heads, the how to set it up, and basically what this club is going to do from a fitting perspective. Thank you to everybody who's reached out on the messages down below. If you have any questions, I try to get back to everybody. I think I normally do, but I really appreciate the subscribes. I really appreciate the messages and the likes. Please keep them going for us. This is building, and it means that this information is getting shared out, and it means that there's more relevancy. We'll keep doing them. That's how it works. Stick them in the messages below. If you've tested this iron, or if you're about to test this iron, you want some help understanding maybe a bit more about shafts and heads, messages below. Let's get into this thing. Right, there's four heads. There's a T100, there's a T150, there's a T250 and a T350. I'm going to talk about some of the shafts that I see working best in this club. I'm also going to let you understand sort of the blending that's going on. I hear a lot of whispers and words about, matching the different heads, putting two heads in the same set. I'm going to lift the lid on that a bit. That's probably something you're going to want to watch, because I'm finding it not the right thing to do. I'm also going to explain the type of golfers that I'm seeing in the four different heads, and then how I'm matching the shafts to those players and those heads to get the desired results. I'm also going to talk about something kind of important: land angle. Titleist have talked about this in the launch of this iron. We use this number a lot. In fact, it's a really important number. What is it? It's the degrees of descent into the target area. So it's into the green in this case for these irons. I'm going to talk about land angle. I'm going to talk about why it's important for you to understand it. Right, let's get stuck in. T100. Okay, so this is an iron that I'm using if I get a strong player. If there's a strong strike, or it's kind of a golfer strike where he's fast, he's like plus 85 mile an hour clubhead speed, he's generating good speed through the ball. It's very solid, it's very stable. It does have two tungsten pieces at the bottom of the club. Why is that important? Well, when you put tungsten low down in the bottom of the club, especially down towards the bottom, and you split them, you create this, better balance in the club, okay? And it helps with slight off-center hits, a thing called moment of inertia, or MOI, where the club head's trying to resist the twist based on the off-center hits. If you hit the ball in the middle, you know what that feels like. It feels buttery, it feels perfect. But if you don't, those two weightings help to kind of stabilize the club. I'm using this iron if the guy's a bit of a striker or girl and hits it hard, because this thing regulates strike really well. It also sounds and feels, the phonetic from this, or the sound off it, is really good. In fact, I think better than the last iteration. I'm also using it if I need to keep the CG a little lower, to try and get a little bit more height off the irons. I've heard about the blending of some of the heads. I'm not sure about that. That's a great idea. I think if you're thinking about blending a T100 with a T250 or a T150, you're probably in the wrong iron. If you're thinking that the long irons are going to be too hard to hit, just move up to the T150 or move up to the T250, and don't be trying to blend them off. Also, for club fitters and builders like us, it's a bit of a nightmare, because if you're changing offset and you're changing design, it has an effect on pitch and angle, which means trying to match up where the split is can be complicated. What shafts am I using in the T100? Well, I'm using a lot of that original Project X, especially in the 6.0 and 6.5. This shaft is a really nice, low flighted stiff tip. It also helps to organize the club head through impact based on those guys or girls that release it and want to hit it hard, kind of stabilize the club head. It also keeps the ball flight under control at this sort of level, because these things want to launch a bit higher, okay? So you have to be careful about matching the shaft with not only the weight of the club head and geometry of the club head at impact, but also what I'm trying to do with that pitch value to get my landing angle just right. I'm also using a bit of the dynamic gold in the 100 and in the 115 if I need a little bit lighter. KBS C Taper Light is awesome in this thing. It's really nice and organized in the tip section. I'm actually going into the X's quite a bit as well when I want a bit of feel through the club, but I want the shaft to feel like it's stable, but not overly heavy. If I'm looking for a bit more flow in this club, I'm also using a Nippon Modus in the 120. I'm using X as well as S in that. Again, it's all about that feel and stability and how I want the club head to move or rotate through impact. Bottom line is, this is a really good player's club. I would say probably in my top 3 for this coming season. Golfers that have hit it, loved it instantly. It has a lot of feel from it, nice forge facing, that low center of gravity. It's really easy to strike, feels solid, and flights the ball lovely. It's just important to tie the shaft into this type of golfer so that they're getting the right type of sensation and organized ball flight. I find the spin rates on this so incredibly organized, like plus or minus 300 or 400 RPM based on the strike. So better player, T100. Get it in your bag or get a test of it. Trust me, you're not gonna be sorry about it. Okay, so T150, where does that come in? Well, this is the next head up basically, okay? So it's a little bit more offset, a little bit wider in terms of design, a little bit longer in terms of club length. I guess this is kind of where that golfer wants that player profile, but maybe is a little bit nervous about the flight. So maybe catches a little out to in the swing path, maybe gets a little cut going on, maybe wants a little bit more forgiveness, I guess. There's a deeper cavity in this. It still has the tungsten split at the bottom, which keeps the weight low and keeps it wide to kind of give it more stability. I guess that's that question where some golfers were saying, could I split the T150s and the T100s? I'd say if you're thinking about that, just stay in the T150s. I don't think splitting the set's going to give you enough other than maybe more complexity around where the split is and how you match those lofts. If you're getting these built, we tend not to worry too much about trajectory based on loft settings on the standard lofts. What we do is we pull through spin ratio, launch angle, land angle, and then what I'm doing is I'm customizing the lofts in this set to get it just dialed in for the type of window flight that I'm looking for. I want that land angle in around that mid 40s for the 7-iron, and then I'm matching shaft to this. This shaft I'm using a little bit softer, although I have used Project X60s in these. I've used Modus 105 actually in these, where I want a little bit more lighter shaft, where I want the club head to be a bit more dynamic. So if the golfer's looking to fly it a bit and I want that club head to release a bit more, the 105 from Modus is brilliant in the stiff flex, fantastic. I've also used X in it a few times where I want the feel but a little bit more stability. I'm using Dynamic Gold 105s in these as well, and the 110s. That mid-flight's lovely because you're getting a little launch from the head and the shaft then is creating a bit of a flatter trajectory. KBS Tour as well, a little bit softer profile, a little bit more movement through impact. Again, great feel. I'm making sure that the golfer's not losing the feel or sensation of strike with this iron, because usually that golfer is maybe, a little bit want more help from the club. I'm always trying to make sure swing weight is good on these, shaft balance is good on these, and there's a good sense of feel so that the golfer can feel the club head through transition. Don't go too stiff with this shaft in this in an attempt to try and lower the ball flight. I'd rather you felt more of the shaft and then worked on the loft settings on these, customized the lofts to get them just right. Again, if you're getting these in straight from the factory, check the lofts. They may not be exactly what they say on the website. It's important to note. Next head, T250. Really good club. Really better, much better than last time. The last 200 series I felt was a bit kind of blocky, I guess, and sounded a little bit clicky. Just to note, this is a, I guess, high-tech club. They've got a lot of cavity inside. Again, the tungsten's back in there. They've got an insert, they've got it closed off. This is a fast or a speed type club. Is it the best in this category? There's a couple in there. There's P790s, there's 5 series from Ping. It's a similar kind of design. My view on this is if you're looking for a little bit more height on the ball, you want a little bit more ball speed out of it, you need a little bit more help from the club, and you really like Titleist, try this. But make sure that you like the feel of it. It does come out a little bit kind of hotter, so the resonance is a little higher. It sounds a bit clicky. Test it, make sure that you're comfortable with it, because if you're not, it might be something that bugs you down the road. Higher flighted, slower speeds. So if you're a slower speed, so sub 80s, this is a great club for you. The lofts are a little stronger, so it's going to come out a little flatter, but it's going to launch higher. And that's kind of the whole purpose. If you're struggling to flight the ball, this is a head to get into. Again, lighter weight steels in this. Nippon, the Neo 950s or the 750s are fantastic. Lightweight speed, lightweight steel, speed in the air. Don't be afraid to keep it a little firmer. You don't have to go into so much regular with this if you're slower, because the club head does a lot of the heavy lifting. You need to create stability. KBS Tour 90, brilliant shaft in this head. You can also leak into the graphites as well. They do a lovely Mitsubishi and a recoil. Again, be careful about the balance with this. You've got to get it just right based on the player. That little bit faster you go too soft, it's going to become harder to control it. So manage your flex and keep the weight light, and that will give you the kind of strike that you're looking for. There's also a 250 high launch in this. This is just a club that has a slightly lower CG and a bit of a higher flight through lofts. We have it here for testing and it's fine, but to be honest, we use the lofts and the shafts to generate our window of flight. Because we build this stuff, we can control that much better. I think the high flighted T250 is more designed if you're buying them off the rack, that you know that the lofts are higher. Again, check them, make sure that they are when you get them, so that the window of flight is as you would expect or as you want. Keep the shaft light if you want more flight. Keep the tip section softer, so a higher flighted, lower kick point, lighter weight, that will get the ball into the air for you. Final head, T350. It's a great club head. It's a very forgiving head. It's blocky, it's bigger. It's got a really deep low CG. The lofts are a little bit weaker. The CG is lower, so it flights the ball higher. I don't use this a lot, to be honest. I think there's better products in this category to suit that type of golfer. I've used a lot of ping for this in the 430s. I use a lot of the QIs from TaylorMade. I think this club here is probably a little bit too much going on for that golfer that's looking for a little bit more flight. Maybe the cost of it's a little high as well, based on the type of performance that it delivers. But hey, if you like Titleist, you want to get the ball into the air, you're struggling with speed, you get this T350 into a graphite shaft that's lightweight, lots of kick, lots of flow. Is that thing going to climb? Absolutely. It'll be high, it'll be soft landing, your landing angle is going to go up, it's going to come in softer, and you're definitely going to get it to go further, because it will keep the ball in the air longer if your speeds drop down below those kind of 70, 75. Maybe to test that first, make sure that it's delivering based on what you're trying to look for it, and check your ball speed. So you're always trying to work off ball speed with T350. Make sure that the ball is going faster than what you have. Usually faster speeds and higher launch will give you added carry. That's kind of how it works. Keep an eye on the ball speed. Bottom line, I love this iron. I really like it in that sort of lower, I guess, handicap player. Golfers that have come in here that are strong, looking for more strike out of the club, they're definitely getting it from this. It's very organized for flight, consistent in its launch angles, very consistent in its speeds. It's to do with the variable face technology that they use to control speeds based on off center. But I think it's that better player category, right? Titleist have always been known as that premium sort of, I guess, top of the tier, right? That's the kind of design that they're really good at. When they try to leak it, I guess, back into that higher handicapper, I think it loses a little bit of definition. I think other brands do that better. It's just my opinion and based on what I see at the fittings. But if you're that stronger player, if you're that better ball striker, if you're looking for more control, more consistency, a little bit more organized flight, T100 or T150 are my top picks. Keep the shaft, make sure you're organizing the shaft, make sure that you see how that shaft is working with the club head, and remember, hit your windows of flight and remember your land angles. Don't get caught up in just ball speed and distance. It's all about that control element. Hope you're enjoying it. Remember, give us a subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching, and I shall see you at the next video. Cheers.